Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. It's your girl Amandalyn, and today I have something a little bit different than usual. I have been posting a couple of workout videos and clothing hauls, but today's video is a get ready with me while I chit chat about 5 big misconceptions people have about health and fitness. If you guys don't know, my Instagram page is primarily health and fitness related. I have gathered information over the years, and obviously I'm always learning, but these are 5 big things that I see constantly on social media, I see it on the magazines when I check out at Publix. It's a reoccurring theme of these really bad misconceptions people want to spill about health and fitness, and it can be really misleading for people who are brand new into this industry. Before we jump in though, don't forget to hit that like button down below and let me know that you guys like these kinds of videos. Also, hit subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a future video. All right, let's get into it. So the hair is up. I did already moisturize my skin, but now I'm going to prep my skin with primer. This is the CoverGirl True Blend base skin primer. It's the skin soothing one. I got it on clearance, but I'm not gonna lie, I actually really enjoy this primer, so I am gonna purchase it again. So this is so weird, like talking while I do my makeup. I'm normally dead silent. So the first big misconception that I want to talk about, it's kind of 2 parts. The first one is you need to do cardio all the time in order to lose weight, or you need to do abs constantly to see your abs. There's so much that goes into this. The first one is that technically, weightlifting will burn more calories than cardio. And the reason why, cardio, yes, will burn more calories in that moment, but weightlifting does this really cool thing where it continues to burn calories after it's happened. So your muscles are trying to repair and stuff, and in order to do that, it has to use energy, which is then burning calories and such. So your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, is your metabolic rate when you aren't active. When you're just sitting around watching YouTube, for example, you clicked on my channel and you want to watch a video, congrats. Your basal metabolic rate will be higher if you use weightlifting versus just cardio. So it's actually more beneficial to weightlift. Now, you don't have to ignore cardio training. It's fantastic to train your heart and to build endurance. It's going to actually help you in the long run during your weight training. You're going to be able to withstand getting exhausted faster. But it's not necessary to do cardio every single day to lose weight. So one of the factors that goes into cardio is the difference between LISS cardio and HIIT. LISS is low intensity steady state cardio. For example, jogging, going on a walk, incline treadmill, things like that would be considered low intensity. Whereas HIIT would be a circuit that's between 10 and 20 minutes long, that is fast paced, uses a lot of jumping movements or a lot of just really intense exercises that get your heart pumping really fast. You're getting up to that 180 beats per minute quickly. The issue with steady state, and a lot of people want to be like, oh, I'm gonna go for a run, I'm gonna go for a run for 30 minutes. That's great and all. However, steady state doesn't technically burn fat first. So we have different storages of energy, and one of the first ones that our body likes to use is glycogen, which is not your fats. So because of this, it takes a longer time during a steady state training to reach that fat burning point, and for the good majority of it, you are going to be burning mostly just glycogen. Whereas if you did high intensity training, because you are using so much energy so quickly, you would actually be tapping into that fat storage a lot faster. Another issue with steady state is that it actually increases your cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone that is responsible for fat storage and increasing fat storage. While it also lowers testosterone, which is used in order to build muscle and burn fat. So don't worry. You have to do more than 45 minutes of a steady state cardio to reach that point. Typically, it takes 30 minutes of steady state to even tap into your fat storage. So you have like a 15-minute window of just fat burning, whereas you can spend those 15 minutes just doing a HIIT workout. You can do HIIT training 3 times a week, in and out in 20 minutes. You don't need to train abs every single day either to see your abs. There's such thing as overworking your abs, and what happens when you overwork your abs is you can actually cause back injury, even knee pain can be resulted from it, bad posture, things like that. So overworking your abs isn't great, and it can actually build your abdominal muscles so much that you lose that small waist figure if that's what you're aiming for. So I don't recommend training abs more than 3 times a week, and you don't need to do more than 5 or 6 movements for an ab circuit. It doesn't need to be half an hour long. It could be a 10-minute workout and you're done. That's plenty effective, and you're going to see your abdominal muscles probably easier that way versus if you are continuing. Another thing is, in order to see your abs, you are going to have to reduce your body fat percentage. For athletic women, their body fat percentage should be between 14 and 20%, and men should be between 6 and 13%. If you are a woman and you are at 14%, do not go below that. Okay, it's really unhealthy for your body. You're going to lose your period. You're going to see other issues. Your metabolism is going to slow down incredibly. Do not go below that 14%. It's very unhealthy for your body. Okay? For fitness people who like to go to the gym, they train, like myself, I should be between 21 and 24%, and men should be between 14 and 17%. That's like your typical body fat percentage range. For an acceptable weight, normal person, sometimes you work out, sometimes you don't. Average Jane, you would be 25 to 31%, and men would be 18 to 24%. These are just some of the percentages that are typical. So it's not 100, but don't come for me. I found this on the internet, did my research. I'll have a link below. So again, if you wanted to see your abs, you would have to probably, for a woman, drop to about that 20% range in order to see them. You have a little bit lower of a body fat percentage. I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. This is the L'Oreal Brow Stylish Shape and Fill. It's not my favorite. They changed which one they make. This has an angled point to it. The one I like had, it was just like a regular little tiny point. But it's not bad. It's better than some. It doesn't move around on me throughout the day. So I do like this. So I'm gonna do it really quick. I do already have thick brows, obviously. Like, I need to trim them up a bit today. But I do, there's a big difference. I don't know. I have very sparse outer corners on my eyebrows, and that's what I like to fill in the most. And then obviously the wax just holds down the hairs. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Color Icon Nude Awakening palette. It's just like an everyday palette. It's an older palette, I will say. I don't know if you're going to be able to find this at Target or Walmart. I would hope you would, but I don't know. So I'm just taking that top shade and working it into my crease. So the next big misconception that I wanted to chat about is spot reducing fat. Now, this has been, I think most people know this by now, but if you don't, you cannot spot reduce fat. How losing fat works is your fat cells are technically triglycerides. So these bigger molecules have to be broken down, and when they get broken down, they are then free fatty acids and glycerol. Because they're now small, they can enter the bloodstream, and when they enter the bloodstream, they are used as fuel for when you're working out. So when you're working out, those triglycerides are broken down into free fatty acids and glycerols anywhere in your body, literally anywhere. You can't say, hey stomach, I want you to burn those triglycerides into free fatty acids now. You can't do that. So you're going to be losing body fat overall, but not in one spot. So when you see those workouts that are like, oh, reduce belly fat, target your love handles or your inner thighs, it's not necessarily burning the fat there, it's just building the muscle there. So when you're building the muscle, you have to use more energy, which in turn you're burning more fat, but you're not burning fat in that exact spot. You're just building the muscle there. So I'm just taking this like light matte shade and putting it down on my lid as like a base kind of thing for a more shimmery shade. And yeah, I use my finger. I like my finger. I find that it tends to warm up the product a lot better and actually get it into my primer. I didn't tell you what primer I use. I have been using this primer, this eye primer, for easily like 5 years now, because it is the only one that doesn't allow my oil to seep through. I have super oily eyelids. I have oily skin in general, but my eyelids are disturbingly oily. So this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. I love this stuff, so I highly recommend getting this, and it's really cheap because it's Wet n Wild. I'm going to take the shade down here. It's just a lighter shimmer shade. I don't know. I like it. It's pretty. It's enough for during the day. I'm just taking it on a flat shader brush. To finish up the eyes really quickly, I'm going to take that bottom shade. It says Transition. I'm taking this like a pencil, kind of get the shadow on like the tip and on the side of it, and then I smudge it along my lash line. And sometimes I'll do it now just so I can show you. I take it up a little bit and I kind of like smoke it out. I take the top shade, so the shade that I used in my crease, and I work it in that outer corner with it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into foundation. So this is the CoverGirl Outlast Active. I really like the coverage of this. It's not too heavy and it sits really well on my skin, especially with this one. Like I don't know why, but it's really good. And I'm in the shade 825 Buff Beige. Then I'm taking my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. It's just like a really nice kabuki. It's really dense. And I stipple and bring it out. Like I try to target it in the center of my face first and then bring it outward, because I have most of my redness in the center of my face. So the third misconception I want to talk about is harsh diets will make you skinny. I can't stand, I know I'm gonna bother some people, but I cannot stand keto, the 1200 calorie, the raw food, restrictive dieting. I have such a hard time with that. I'm just bringing it down my neck so I don't look weird. I'm speaking from experience here. I did 1200 calories one time for, actually not one time, I did it multiple times. And this is why it really bothers me this much, because I used to be one of those people that would follow along with this. In high school, one summer between junior and senior year, I ate 1200 calories at most every single day. I worked out for like 4 hours straight. And yes, I did lose the weight. I'm not saying you're not gonna lose weight. What I'm saying is it's an unhealthy way to lose weight. So you'll lose the weight, right? But then when you go back to your normal eating, because it's just a diet, it's just like a temporary thing, you put the weight back on so incredibly fast. Like overnight kind of fast. It's ridiculous. And then you're like, oh, I did something wrong. I have to start my body even more. And then you go to 800 calories, like something crazy like that. That is so unhealthy to do to your body, first off, because what it does is it stunts your metabolism. At first, you're losing the weight. You're like, wow, because your body actually has something to burn, right? Has whatever left energy you had to burn through. So then what happens is you get to a plateau. So you lost 10 pounds, it was water weight probably, and then you're stopped. Not budging. So you think, oh, I need to reduce it even more. You go to 1,000 calories basically. Now your body's like, we're starving here. Oh my gosh, we're in a crisis. And it holds on to whatever you're eating. So then you're gonna watch the scale go up and up and up. This product is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish. I do have the matte finish, but I think it's too drying for my skin, which is odd. But it could just be because like it doesn't complement well with the foundation that I was using. But I really, really, really like this. I like most e.l.f. products. This is the Morphe M536. Back to the topic of restrictive eating. So your metabolism slows down and basically stops, and it holds on to everything that you're eating, and you're gonna watch the scale go back up. So it's really only a temporary fix, and it's not even a healthy temporary fix. It's not sustainable. You aren't going to see incredible progress with it. You're eventually going to do the reverse of what you want. You're going to gain weight back eventually. Okay? Another big issue with keto. This is keto specifically. Keto reduces your carbohydrate intake, and that's a big problem for your body. Not just metabolism, but your actual bodily functions such as your heart, your brain, your kidneys. They need carbs. I mentioned raw food. I have a problem with raw food. Raw food typically is veggies, your fruits. You don't like cook them. And I have a hard time with that because, so the fiber, for example, when you cook it, you break down the fiber and allows it to be digestible. Living on a raw diet is fine, but you need to include foods that aren't considered a raw food every now and then, just so that your metabolism and your bodily functions can work. Okay, so I'm now going to go in with the CoverGirl Clean Matte Powder, and this is also in Buff Beige. I'm taking an e.l.f. blush brush. I actually really like this brush for powder. It has this really cute tapered ending. I don't know why, but it picks up the product really nice, and I can get it in like crevices a lot easier. Do my T-zone, and I'll dust the rest of my face. Hoola Benefit bronzer. I also really like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I would normally use that, but I don't have it in my makeup bag. I carry this one because it's smaller than the Physicians Formula. So I'll pop it up on the screen here of what I would normally use. I actually think I like that one more than this. This is a little bit too bronzy for me, but we're gonna bronze my skin, and we're doing it in a 3 motion, but mainly focusing in here. And I do it in an upward motion as well. It lifts the cheeks. And I do like stipple, and then I'll swirl. I don't like to swirl right away because it will move the product around beneath it, and you don't want to do that. And then I'll like pinch the brush like so. And sometimes I don't do this, but I just like tap my nose. It doesn't really work. I'm really bad at nose contours, so don't like say, oh, you have a fake nose. Like, using the Tarte, you have to make sure it's fitness. It's the Tarte Whitney Simmons Eye and Cheek palette. Look how cute this packaging is. How stinking cute is that? And honestly, like sometimes when I travel, this is all I take. And then a bronzer, because it does have a highlight, a blush, and some really pretty shadows, and you can make a couple of different looks with this palette. So I actually really enjoy this palette. Okay, so the 4th misconception that I want to talk about is that you constantly need to change up your workout to see results. If you're constantly changing what compounds you're doing, you're never going to see growth in those different muscle groups. For example, if I were to do hip thrusts one week, and then the next week I do deadlifts, and then I do squats the next week, you're not using all the same muscles, so you're never experiencing progressive overloaded any of those muscles. And you need to use progressive overload in order to gain muscle. Progressive overload is when you are adding weight or intensity between your workouts. Let's say Monday I do 250-pound hip thrusts for 8 reps. The next week or later that week I can do 250 pounds for 10 reps. And then the next week I do 250 pounds for 12 reps. Well, now that I hit 12 reps, I can go up in weight. So then I do 255 pounds for 8 reps. When you do progressive overload like this, you're helping your muscles to break and then rebuild bigger. That's why you will see your body change, is the use of progressive overload. If you are changing your workouts every single time, you're never going to experience progressive overload, and therefore you're never going to build those muscles the way that you need to. So accessory movements don't target big muscle groups like that. They target one muscle at a time usually. So it is a lot harder to see muscle growth using just accessories. And that's why I think using the same workout for a couple of weeks, between 2 and 4 weeks, is ideal. And then you can switch up your accessory movements, but don't switch up your compounds. Always use your compounds. Another reason to not constantly change up your workouts is you never get to practice perfect form. Form is essential if you want to actually target muscles correctly. And if you're using improper form, chances are you're going to be using a lot of lower back, core, certain movements you're going to be using quads over hamstrings or glutes. There's an overwhelming amount that can go wrong when you don't have proper form. So allowing yourself to take a couple of weeks to practice these movements, you master these movements and you perfect your form, you practice progressive overload, and that's when you see muscle growth. So really quickly, I took the blush and I like to center it so I smile, and then do this apple of my cheeks and then slightly back. Not all the way, but slightly. And I usually go in like an upward motion just because I find that it lifts your face upward and doesn't drag it down. So apple, and then up and back. For highlight, I'm going to use the highlighter in the same palette. It's called Flex. I was contemplating on flexing on you guys. I'm just taking it on Cupid's bow. Okay. Tip of my nose. Bridge. And then right on top of my cheekbone, and then up towards my brow. That brush was the e.l.f., I think it's concealer, yes, Flawless Concealer Brush. I actually really like it for highlight. I'm taking the e.l.f. Professional Defining Eye Brush. This is like $1 or $2. It's angled, see, little angle. And I take that right under my brow bone. And corner of my eye. So I just took the crease shade and ran it underneath my eye on my lower lash line, and I took this brow gel. It is the Essence Make Me Brow. It has like little fibers. This thing is literally like $2.99 at Ulta, so I highly recommend it, but I'll probably use a little more. I just take it and brush into the areas that I know move around on me a lot, aka the fronts of my brows. So now the fifth and final misconception that I want to chat about is the idea that you will always see progress, and if you don't, obviously you're doing something wrong and you have to restart. That is such a huge misconception. First off, health and fitness, if you are living a healthy lifestyle, it is a lifestyle, it's a journey. It takes more than a month-long challenge, it's more than a detox. It's something that you practice for a long period of time. For me, I've been practicing for 2 years and I'm still trying to progress. And I'm going to probably the rest of my life. Your journey is not linear, meaning it's not always going to be increasingly steady, smooth, no problems. You're going to experience plateaus. You're going to experience possibly weight gain if that's not what you're trying to do. Or you might have an injury and it's going to set you back and then you have to restart at a lower weight, something like that. There's always going to be little hiccups on your journey. So to have this idea that you're always supposed to see progress and then once you don't, you have to restart is horrible. If you were to restart every single time something went wrong, you'd never get to your goal. Instead of freaking out when you mess up or you start seeing numbers go up on the scale if you're trying to lose weight or something like that, don't start from the beginning, start where you were. So if you ate bad for like 2 days or a week because you were on vacation, go back to eating the way you were before vacation. And if you hit a plateau and you are doing everything correctly that you think, is normal for weight loss or for muscle gain, change one thing at a time. Curl my lashes. This is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. It's the green one. I think I have like the darkest shade. I think it only comes in one shade, to be honest. And I do like wipe off the mascara, the extra mascara. And then I start at the lashes and wiggle. I don't go up the lashes yet. I'm just trying to build at the base first. Okay, and then I go up because there's less product on it, and then do my lowers. So the lipstick that I'm going to be using is also from Essence. It's the Matte. It's 01 shade. It's just a basic nude. It's like a peachy nude. And there you have it. This is my finished everyday look. It's very simple. Mostly neutral colors, but I really like it, and it's using majority drugstore. If you stayed all the way to the end of this video, leave the lipstick emoji down below in the comments. That way I know who stayed to the end, because I'm actually curious. I feel like this took forever. I know it's a long video, but there was a lot of vital information in this video, so I do hope that you found it helpful. And hit the like button, and also lets me know that you guys enjoy these kinds of videos, and I will make more of them. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell down below so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and catch you next time.